morning, everyone. Welcome into this day with the Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, whomever you love, and whatever your faith tradition, you are welcome here. My name is Susan Pratt, and I'm a member here at QUUF. I would like to begin this service by acknowledging that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the Sklallam and Shimmikum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our Indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain their homelands. As we call in our time together, let us settle our minds and calm our hearts with the ringing of our chime. It is so good to be together. Now, Heidi Mattern and Katy Taylor will lead us in our call to community. They will repeat each section twice, so please join in.
Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? 'Cause put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? 'Cause put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Can you hear what she says when you listen? 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening?
Thank you, Katy and Heidi. Please join me now in our chalice lighting words. They were written by American farmer, environmentalist, and poet Wendell Berry from Prayers and Sayings of the Mad Farmer, collected poems 1957 to 1982. Sowing the seed my hand is one with the earth. Wanting the seed to grow, my mind is one with the light. Hoeing the crop, my hands are one with the rain. Having cared for the plants, my mind is one with the air. Hungry and trusting, my mind is one with the earth. Eating the fruit, my body is one with the earth. Thank you.
Our opening words are from Chief Seattle, with slight changes to make them more gender neutral. The earth does not belong to people. People belong to the earth. This we know. All things are connected, like the blood which unites one family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth. People did not weave the web of life. They are merely a strand in it. Whatever they do to the web, they do to themselves.
What we'd like to do now is acknowledge and welcome those of you who are visiting us this morning. You are invited to say hello in the comments section. Tell us your name and where you're from. The chat section can be found below or on the right-hand side of the video when it is out of full screen mode, and we would love to hear from you. So, welcome everyone. We're so glad you're with us today. Now we will receive the offering, which today goes to support our programming staff and the building here at QUUF. If you would like to donate, you have 3 options. You may text the amount you'd like to give to the number now showing at the bottom of the screen, or go to our website, QUUF.org, and click on the giving link, or simply mail a check to QUUF. Just remember to write offering on the memo line. We will now gratefully receive your offering as Katy Taylor sings a beautiful song she received in 1998 called Our Mother. She accompanies it with ASL.
Our mother, mother, who dwells in the earth, hallowed be thy body. Thy earth be whole, in body and soul. Thy will be done. Fill us this day with thy love, and forgive us our shortcomings. Help us to forgive ourselves and to forgive others. Lead us this day in thy holy ways, in thy paths of love. For thine is the earth, the love and the beauty, forever and ever. Amen. Our mother, mother, who dwells in the earth, hallowed be thy body. Thy earth be whole, in body and soul. Thy will be done. Fill us us this day with thy love, and forgive us our shortcomings. Help us to forgive ourselves and to forgive others. Lead us this day in thy holy ways, in thy paths of love. For thine is the earth, the love, and the beauty, forever and ever. Amen.
We will now share our joys and sorrows, recognizing that our personal joys and sorrows are only a fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And thus, we place this first stone, thinking in particular of the continued fight for democracy in our country. And now, within the congregation, we light this candle in celebration of Henry Amick's birthday on July 26th. We hope you have a wonderful birthday, Henry. And we light this candle of joy for the birth of Hawthorne Elaine Willing, joining members Ryan, Audra, and Sister Onyx on July 13th. Welcome to you, Hawthorne. And now we place a final stone, holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows I have just shared, but also thinking of such joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed, but of no less importance. I invite you now into a moment of silence.
Please join in a responsive reading from Wendell Berry's Sabbath Poems 2003, number 3. Leave your windows and go out, people of the world.
Go into the streets, go into the woods, and along the streams.
Go together.
Go alone.
Say no to the lords of war, which is money, which is fire.
Say no by saying yes to the air, to the earth, to the trees.
Yes to the grasses, to the rivers, to the birds and the animals and every living thing.
Yes to the small houses. Yes to the children.
Yes.
Yes.
Our special music today is a tune you all know with different words. Please join in.
For the beauty of the earth, for all life that lives in her, forgive us, help us speak the truth, help us love the way you do, help us love, help us love, help Help us love the way you do. Help us love. Help us love. Help us love the way you do. For the beauty of the earth, for all life that lives in her. Forgive us, help us speak the truth. Help us love the way you do. Help us love. Help us love. Help us love the way you do. Help us love. Help us love. Help us love the way you do. For the beauty of the earth, for all life that lives in her. Forgive us, help us speak the truth. Help us love the way you do. Help us love. Help us love. Help us love the way you do. Help us love. Help us love. Help us love the way you do. Help us love. Help us love. Help us love the way you do.
Katy Taylor is an interfaith minister, earth lover, and longtime spiritual practitioner. She brings the practice of presence and mindfulness as best as she can into her life and work. She loves to grow food and medicine, tend the earth, sing, and support others on their path. She lives outside Port Townsend with her husband, Dave, and their doggie, Sammy, next door to her parents, Lynn and Jennifer Taylor. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today, Katy.
Mom calls me over to see and listen to the yellow grosbeaks that have returned. I notice them, but I'm not really touched. I have other things on my mind. My sister follows the call at an early age to spend as much time as she can outdoors, to explore and eventually take up outdoor sports and camping, and even training to guide others. It all seems like so much work to me, and expensive, and dirty. I have other things on my mind. It took me many years to begin to understand the importance of reconnecting to Earth, and to find my own ways of coming home. It's not that I didn't have moments of deep connection, but I didn't prioritize them. And I've lived my life in my head a lot. In my teen years, I spent a lot of time believing and being a good born-again Christian. As an adult, I studied a lot. I even traveled abroad, learning German and Swedish. And I've read a lot of books about how to heal and grow and develop myself, and coached and taught others about this. But living in my head, even though I studied and taught helpful spiritual things, hasn't been enough. Though I have often found solace and beauty in nature, it was almost as if I expected nature to be there for me when I needed her. I didn't realize that there could be some kind of reciprocal relationship. As Robin Wall Kimmerer reminds us, the land is not broken. It is our relationship to it that is broken. It's hard to have a relationship with the land when we as a culture move around so much. The average American moves every 5 years. That certainly makes it difficult to have a sense of belonging to the land. Instead of a sense of belonging to the land, to earth. We move to a new place and bring our belongings with us. We experience nature as a thing, something outside of us, an object that we can use, a resource to use to grow our food, for water to drink, for building materials to make homes and shelters, for fuel to drive our cars, heat our homes, and fly to see our friends and family, and visit new places, etc., etc., etc. In his book, Biology of Wonder, Andreas Weber invites us to swap out the word nature with the phrase, the living earth. This reminds us that we can enter into a living relationship with earth, rather than a one-sided, for human enjoyment only experience. So take a moment with me. Just close your eyes and take a few breaths. And then open your awareness to your body, noticing any sensation, any ache, any pain, any tingly, bubbly, electrical, flowy, or other sensations. Maybe it's a sense of warmth or ease or relaxation in your body. Just notice this aliveness in your body. And if you're having trouble feeling anything, try just shaking one hand for a minute. And then stop and sense that hand compared to the other one, noticing the extra aliveness. Andreas Weber suggests that this inner aliveness that you can feel, this is the same aliveness, the same livingness that is in the living earth. This aliveness is the center of our being. It's our direct connection with the living earth. Feeling this reconnects us with our bodies, which are made of Earth's body. Andreas Weber again, nature is about beauty, because beauty is our way to experience aliveness as inwardness. Beauty is this aliveness felt. No wonder beauty calls to us. The beauty we celebrate in the living earth, that we snap photos of, send postcards of, look at picture books of, travel for, and long to take in. This outward expression of aliveness reminds us of our own inner aliveness, of our own connection with the living earth. And we need these reminders desperately, since our culture has created such a large amount of deadness. At least since settled agricultural life, we have steadily and cruelly enforced a worldview of pillage and domination over the land and over any beings, peoples, creatures, other than human beings, anything that stood in our way. Whether we and our direct ancestors were involved in this or not, our bodies and our relationship with Earth bear the burden of this colonization. In fact, Resmaa Menakem, the author of My Grandmother's Hands, a book I highly recommend, speaks eloquently of how we white folk carry the trauma of being perpetrators in our bodies. In addition, most of us white folk are descendants of people who were treated cruelly in the countries we originally immigrated from. We also carry this trauma in our bodies. Because we no longer can sense and feel our inner aliveness and that aliveness of a living earth, we overdo to try to get back in touch with it. Too much screen time, too much coffee or caffeine in any form, too much sugar, too much alcohol, too many drugs, too much work, even too much play, and not enough contact with the living earth. So what do we do about this? How do we become an earth being? John Muir believed that deep within us is a primal love of the earth. And if we were in touch with this love, this deep relationship, the earth could help us find our way. So how do we cultivate this deep relationship of love? How do we let the earth show us the way? Because most of us are so out of touch with our bodies, it's really difficult to feel this earth love. If we can help it, we don't spend a lot of time sensing our bodies or feeling our feelings. Our culture has taught us to live in our heads, in our minds, in our thoughts and plans and excitements and worries. So a big part of my journey has been about coming home to my body and my heart. I've needed to do practices that help me to learn to pay attention to my body, to what my body senses, to how my body is feeling, and to my heart, to what feelings I'm having as I'm affected by life. One body way to sense the love of Earth is to literally feel Earth's gravity. So just try that for a minute. Try feeling the weight of your body right now. You're probably sitting on something, or maybe you're standing or lying down. That weight that you sense in your body is Earth holding you, hugging you, Earth loving you into her. If she did not hold you, if she did not hug you into her, you would fly off into outer space and die. So feel and sense that connection, that gravity love. We need to learn to know our bodies as Earth's body, as more than just a thing, vehicle to carry us around and do things, as Earth's body, as sacred, as conduit, as a chalice, as animate and animal, as embodied, not just a head living in a body, as Earth standing on 2 feet. In fact, our bodies are made of about 70% of the same materials as Earth, which makes sense since we come from Earth's substance. We are literally made of the elements of Earth, of water, of land, of air, and of fire. Water relates to the fluids of our body, to flow, the ability to absorb and assimilate, the fluids that nourish and detox our bodies. Land relates to matter, to our flesh, our tissues, our bone. And air relates to breath, to oxygen breathing our bodies and breathing out carbon dioxide to our plant friends. Fire relates to the instinctive life force energy that flows through us and to the inner furnace of our metabolism. Can we feel Earth's elements alive in us right now, in every moment? I have also taken up body-based work and practices to help me learn to listen and pay attention to the aliveness, the movement, the stillness, the inwardness of my body through practices such as 5 rhythms, yoga, somatics, body prayer, earthing, women's work, Tai Chi, the list goes on. There are many, many practices out there, and I'm not advocating for any in particular. It's very individual what will work for you. The most important thing with whatever you practice is to pay attention to your inner sense of your body. It's not about running a certain distance or breaking records or feeling really strong or having a perfect yoga practice, learning a long Tai Chi form, etc., etc., etc. It is about being able to sense your body as you do whatever you are doing. Can you feel the inner pulsation, the inner aliveness, the inner movement inside your body as you run or work or do yoga or Tai Chi or walk? If more of us did this, myself included, we wouldn't injure ourselves as much. We wouldn't overdo. We would know when we needed to move and when we needed to rest. We would be in better health overall. And being more in touch with this inward aliveness in ourselves connects us with Earth's aliveness, because it's all one aliveness, all one life force, and we are part of it. So taking care of your earthly body is part of taking care of the earth. How can we expect to be in good relationship with the earth if we can't even listen to, respect, honor, and take care of our own bodies? We have to learn to come into friendly relationship with the body, to throw off the colonizing, controlling ways that we are with our body. How I am with my body is a microcosm of how I am with the earth. Am I picking on my body, trying to dig things out or hem things in, not letting things flow? How does this reflect my relationship with the earth? Another way I've found of cultivating a loving relationship with earth is to learn to live with the seasons, instead of just living the way my mind thinks I should all year long. I'm having to feel into this here in the Pacific Northwest because it's very different from where I've lived in the past, in the Midwest or in the Northeast. One of the cool things about living here is that I finally live in a part of the earth that aligns with the earth celebrations that I've been drawn to, the Celtic, pagan, and indigenous practices of honoring Earth's natural turnings of the year, the solstices and equinoxes, and the cross-quarter days in between. February 1st, Imbolc, or St. Bridget's Day, which is the halfway point between winter and spring, actually does occur when the snowdrops are popping here in the Pacific Northwest. In the Northeast and the Midwest, we were usually still buried in snow and the ground was frozen. There were no flowers popping. Spring equinox really does herald spring, and so forth. Halfway between spring and summer, Beltane or May Day, is a time to celebrate the sprouting of the sown fields. Then summer solstice. Then halfway between summer and fall, Lunasa or Lammas, connected to the harvest of grains. And then fall equinox. Then halfway between fall and winter, Samhain or Halloween, when the cattle are brought in from pasture. And then winter solstice. So in addition to honoring these transition points, these natural turnings, I've also been working on building a loving, connected relationship with Earth by paying more attention to the seasons and how the living Earth and all of her beings change and adapt with the seasons. I'm especially interested in how I can learn to align my living with the seasons in how I eat, how I plan, how I live my daily life, how I exercise. This is exciting to me, to realize that I can choose to energetically match my life to the natural patterns of Earth. So springtime, it's a time for new beginnings, to plant seeds, to put out new shoots, to try new things, to freshen up, not just our homes, but our bodies, our hearts, our minds. It's a time of sprouting new growth, not just in the earth, but in our lives. Summertime, a time for things that come to ripen and mature, that come to a head, that blossom. It's a time to put a lot of energy in to really accomplish something. Also a time of playful social interactions. Autumn time, a time when things are winding down, a time to celebrate the harvest and to grieve and learn from our mistakes, to recalibrate. It's a time to put things to bed, to organize, to begin to let go. Nature is doing this, and we can too. We can follow her example. Wintertime, a time of returning to the earth, of composting, of hibernating, of slowing down, of dreaming and visioning and resting, so that we'll be ready to burst forth into spring again. So this is not easy, of course, since our culture really encourages us to kind of live in a perpetual summertime, a time of always accomplishing and doing and playing and moving fast. I'm still practicing this one, still trying to learn these rhythms. The practice of tending the earth also teaches me about how alive earth is. When I see how earth can grow plants without fertilizer, without artificial interaction, simply from the basic elements of land, air, water, and sun, how can I not be grateful and amazed? I often greet new sprouts and blooms by singing to them, thanking them for growing, welcoming them, loving them. What if the earth loves me back through growing, through feeding, and providing for me? And I love her through tending her, through caring for her soil, pulling rocks, clearing invasives, watering, nurturing her. It's a reciprocal relationship. I care for her, and she cares for me. Robin Wall Kimmerer recommends planting a garden as a way to restore your relationship with the land. In her words, something essential happens in a vegetable garden. It's a place where if you can't say, I love you out loud, you can say it in seeds, and the land will reciprocate in beans or whatever else you planted, lettuce, chard, kale, parsnips. Robin Wall Kimmerer also reminds us that to be native to a place, we must learn to speak its language. I have needed to add in practices, really specific ones, to help me learn Earth's language. I won't describe them in detail now, but there are many books by people like Joanna Macy, Bill Plotkin, or Amos Clifford, and many others who give suggestions for practices that can engage our senses mindfully so that we can receive the full embrace of Earth's elements of land, air, fire, water, and the full embrace of the more than human beings that live in Earth with us. When we do this, we connect with a deep, timeless part of our humanity. I just want to mention a few practices. One is taking a wander in the living earth with your senses wide open, being willing to be affected by the more than human beings that you meet. Another one is taking a praise walk, a slow walk outside by yourself in which you praise, ideally out loud, the other than human beings that you come across in as much detail as you can. Another one is finding a sit spot that you visit regularly to sit quietly with the earth and her creatures. Or practicing forest bathing, a slow, contemplative walk, engaging all your senses, breathing in the forest. If you practice in this way for a while, you'll notice how your sense of connection with the living earth deepens. You might even hear the earth or one of the more than human beings speak back to you in some form or another. As John Muir says, the sun shines not simply on us, but in us. The rivers flow not past us, but through us. And every bird song, wind song, and storm song. We are a bundle of world. We are the universe squeezed into human form. And I do still study, using my mind to understand the inner workings of Earth and to learn about indigenous ways that I have forgotten. This helps me to remember my place of belonging. Knowing the scientific explanation of how Earth's natural systems function helps me appreciate this amazing planet even more. Some easier ways for the Western mind to practice include some outer actions that we can take to live as lightly and as close to Earth as we can. We can become native to wherever we are living, learning the trees, the plants, the animals, the birds, the insects, knowing their names and their relationships, how they affect each other and us through the seasons. We can pre-cycle, reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle. We can change lawns and gardens over to natives, medicinals, and edibles. Replacing ornamentals with natives supports our native pollinators and insects, which then supports the whole ecological system. We can choose to mostly not purchase food that takes a lot of fossil fuels to get here. We can buy locally and grow as much food as we possibly can. That might mean letting go of a few favorite foods and simplifying meals. We can cook our meals, ferment, preserve food and herbs, make herbal medicines. We can buy as little plastic as possible and reuse it as much as possible, which is very hard since plastic is in almost everything these days. We can conserve water, maybe install a gray water system, or more simply, one of the ways that we do this in our household is to have a bucket to catch gray water in the kitchen sink that we empty outside on plants that are under the eaves, and bowls in the bathroom sinks that we collect to flush the toilet. It can be as simple as that. We can install solar or other alternative energy, green energy. We can drive a hybrid, bicycle, use public transportation as much as possible. We can avoid flying and any other fossil fuel heavy activity. These actions express outwardly our inner care and love for the earth. So all of these practices, learnings, and actions are helping me to become an earth being, one who lives not just on earth or in nature, but with and in the living earth. They are helping me to heal the split that this colonizing culture and my colonizing mind have embedded in me. For each one of us, the practices and life ways might be similar or different. But if we want to heal this division, we need to practice so that we can move from being simply a human being to an earth being, one who can create with, in, and as earth. For remember, we are earth, standing on 2 feet. When we live in this way, we come back into our relationship with the living earth, within ourselves, within each other, and all around us. In this way, we have a chance of finding a new way forward that honors and works with Earth, hopefully leaving a livable planet for our ancestors and all our relations. So Heidi and I will sing the closing song by local singer-songwriter Gretchen Sleicher. Each section repeats twice. Please join in.
Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive till we go back to the mystery. As long as we're alive, strive, till we go back to the mystery. I have come for communion, precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. I have come for communion, precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. May I shine a light of kindness through the night, till I go back to the mystery. May we shine a light of kindness through the night, till we go back to the mystery. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive, till we go back to the mystery. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive, till we go back to the mystery. I have come for communion, precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. I have come for communion, precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. May I shine a light of kindness through the night, till I go back to the mystery. May we shine a light of kindness through the night, till we go back to the mystery. Till we go back to the mystery. Till we go back to the mystery.
Before we extinguish our chalice, I want to remind you that Cynthia Osterman will be our guest speaker next Sunday. She will be speaking on the importance of mental health in our children in a sermon entitled, "Are the Kids All Right?" I hope you can join us. And now, let us join voices in the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Now, let us turn our attention to Katy and Kristin Smith, who will perform our Postlude. This is a song that Katy used to sing with the singer-songwriter Jay Mankita at assembly programs for kids. She will be using a simplified sign language like they used to do. Please sing along.
We come from the mountain, we come from the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the water, we come from the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the sky, we come from the sky. Go back to the sky, turn the world around. We come from the sky, go back to the sky, turn the world around. We come from the fire, we come from the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. Go back to the sky, turn the world around. Go back to the water, turn the world around. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around.